All right, today we're jumping into a real detective story. It's a deep dive into an impulse that I think a lot of us can relate to, even if it's uncomfortable to admit. That urge to sabotage the really good things in our lives. And our investigation starts with a single, powerful confession.
I mean, wow, that's intense, right? This isn't just about being in a bad mood. This is about a powerful, recurring urge to just blow it all up, to annihilate something precious. And that feeling is the mystery we're here to solve. What on earth drives someone to that point?
So, to figure this out, the first thing we need to get is that this isn't just random chaos. Nope. It's a pattern. It's predictable. In fact, the person whose story we're following has gotten really good at spotting her own destructive cycle. Okay, so check this out. This is the process. It starts with that raw feeling, that urge to destroy. Then, the search begins. It's like you pull out these magnifying glasses and start hunting for flaws in the relationship. A tiny, insignificant issue suddenly gets blown up into this massive relationship-ending deal-breaker. And here's the most important part. The goal isn't to solve a problem. The goal is to create an excuse, an exit ramp. You're literally building your own reason to leave.
Okay, so that's the how. But what about the why? What actually kicks this whole thing off? Every single cycle has a trigger, and you might be surprised to find out just how small an event can set off such a massive internal explosion. And here it is. The trigger is her partner getting a compliment. That's it. On the surface, that sounds great. Most of us would feel proud or happy. But for her, this completely innocent moment was the match that lit the fuse.
And this is the question that unlocks the entire mystery. Why would a nice thing happening to your partner feel like a direct threat to you? Logically, it doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? But the feeling is incredibly powerful, so it forces us to dig deeper and ask, what is she actually so afraid of?
Well, it turns out the answer isn't just simple jealousy. It goes way, way deeper than that. It's all rooted in a deeply held belief about the very nature of admiration itself.
And her big aha moment, the light bulb finally clicking on, came from a pretty unexpected place. An Alanis Morissette song. This one lyric just perfectly captures her internal logic. This idea that good things, like being amazing, are limited. If you have it, then I can't.
There's actually a name for this. It's called a scarcity mindset. It's when you believe that things like attention and admiration are finite resources, like there's only so much to go around. So when you see the world this way, it becomes a zero-sum game. If he gets a compliment, it's not just a nice moment for him, it's a piece of the pie being taken away from her. His gain literally feels like her loss.
So where does a belief this powerful and this painful even come from? To find the source, our detective story has to take us back in time, way back, to the environment where this survival strategy was first created. And here's the strategy she developed. As a kid, when admiration felt scarce, she learned she could earn it by performing, by winning awards, by being the perfect daughter, anything she could control. But as an adult, that control is gone, especially when it comes to something effortless, like your partner's good looks. You can't outperform that. This reaction, it just says it all, doesn't it? That word, effortless, is the real trigger, because her entire life has been about effort. She had to work, to earn, to fight for every scrap of attention. So when someone else gets it for free, just for being handsome, it feels like a fundamental violation of the rules of the universe. It just feels deeply, profoundly unfair. And this leads us to an even deeper layer of the mystery. We understand the strategy she used to get attention, but we still don't know why admiration was the specific thing she needed so desperately. Why not something else, like love or safety or just belonging?
Okay, we've arrived at the final clue. And this isn't about childhood strategies anymore. We're going all the way back to the primal wound, to a pre-verbal memory that set this entire pattern in motion.
This realization is just profound. She always thought that all the performing and striving was about proving her worth, proving she deserved to be here. But now she sees that no, it was much more fundamental than that. It was about proving her very existence.
This is the image that finally surfaces, the origin story. A tiny 1-month-old baby lying in her crib. She's physically in the room, but the adults around her are completely consumed by their own profound grief. So she is there, but she is not seen. She's emotionally invisible. And this
This is the silent scream of that infant. It's the pre-verbal need that was never met. It's a desperate, primal plea, not for praise, not even for love in that moment, but simply for acknowledgement, a plea to be noticed, to be seen. So with this final revelation, everything just snaps into place. The self-sabotage, the need for admiration, the rage at effortless attention, it all suddenly clicks, and it points toward a whole new way of understanding the problem. And this is the fundamental mix-up that drove a lifetime of behavior. For that infant, the only way to feel loved was to first be seen. So over time, her brain just collapsed the two ideas. Being seen was being loved, and being unseen meant being unloved, or worse, not existing at all. That's why her partner being seen felt so threatening. It risked making her invisible all over again. And so, this incredibly personal detective story leaves us with a question that's really universal. If we too have maybe learned to confuse getting attention with feeling affection, how do we begin to untangle them? How do we learn to feel loved and secure in ourselves, even in those moments when we aren't the center of attention? That's the real work, isn't it? And it's definitely something worth thinking about.
If this conversation sparks something for you, feel free to share, or comment. You never know who else needs to feel seen by it.